Yo, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I'm bringing you guys some branded combos post ban list. Now, we don't know what's on the ban list yet. Obviously, it's not August. It's about to be August. It's August 1st when I'm dropping this video, but the point is we don't know what's going to get banned. We can safely assume though that Sanctifier will be banned because, you know, it's just about that time, bro. And we know the problem card is Sanctifier, so that should be the one to go. If Sanctifier sticks around, there is still degenerate things we can do, even if they do go the Master Duel route and ban Ido and the Puppet. There's still stuff you could do with Branded Fusion, like sending Ra's Disciple, some weird stuff like that. But in the case that Sanctifier does get banned, Branded is definitely not dead. So all my Branded players know, and people that have played against good Branded players that weren't just trying to go for Puppet, know that the deck can do a lot more than just try and Puppet. So today I'm bringing you guys some post ban list combos for Branded. 3 combos here for you guys. The first one is if you open up Fusion Deployment plus Aluber and any discard except Lubellion, so I changed that in a sec. Fusion Deployment, Reveal, Summon out Cartesia, Standard. It's gonna look mostly standard till the end. I just get my random discard as Dark Ruler because, you know, you're probably not going to draw Bastille Lubellion, but there's things that you can do. If you do, it's fine. But anyway, we go for the standard line of Albion effect, banish Alblast plus Aluber, Lubellion effect, discard. I'm getting ahead of myself. See, I was too excited to show you guys these combos, bro. So we make Mirror Jade, of course, and here, like, you're always just insulated from nib because, like, you can Mirror Jade, send something, it just gets crazy. But we're not going to go over that today. So Lubellion, place Branded Lost, Cartesia effect Fusion, and here's where we would normally Puppet, so this is where it like kind of deviates. It's actually not anything crazy that I'm going to do here, but there's just to show you how broken Grangoyle actually is. Like, obviously it sends Puppet, which is the most broken thing it can do, but it can do other broken things. So here we go Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, they can't respond at this point, obviously, so we search for Mercourier, and then we dump the Ash Dragon to the graveyard, and then during the end phase, we're going to trigger the Ash Dragon to summon out a Quem. Quem effect's going to dump an Albaz. That's important for our opponent's turn. And now we go Albion effect to set red, and then we pass turn to our opponent here. I don't add back the Cartesia because I want to summon it back off the Quem, which is what I'm going to do. So I let my opponent play a little bit, obviously, because we're not Gimmick Puppet locking them. Even if we were Gimmick Puppet locking them, we would see what they were going to play. So we just let them play. We eventually use Mirror Jade. We're going to send a Rinbrum to revive Albaz later, and then that's going to trigger our Quem. So Quem can bring itself back and then use its effect to Fusion. So here we get Chainlink 1 Grangoyle, Chainlink 2 Lost. They can't respond obviously at this point, so we go search for a Shroud and dump an Adlib. Bringing back Adlib in the deck that you can dump off of Grangoyle, especially like if you already have Quem in rotation. Like you guys saw on turn 1, I sent the Ash Dragon to get access to Quem. But if you already have that, then you can just send this on turn 1 and not have to do the Cartesia thing, which I do show in a different combo. So we go search for Shrouded Dragon just for some follow-up because we could dump Retribution off that, obviously. And then we'd send the Adlib to the graveyard. And then here we go Branded in red. Add back the Adlib. Fuse up into Stapelia. You could also go for a Guardian Chimera. So I bring out both just to show you guys that you could, whichever one is, you know, better in whichever scenario you're in. You can give yourself a negate and, you know, level modulate, which is relevant for some decks, or you could just go pop 1, draw 2, pop 2, draw 1, whatever it is, right? Like if you want to banish your Mercourier off of this Branded in red and go for a Chimera, you could search another Merc off of the Shroud, or you could search another Merc off of the Lost and then like banish the Merc and then search Albion anyway. Just do it like that. But here I just go for the Stapelia as I show you guys here. So we have already used Mirror Jade once. Now we have Stapelia. Now we have Jade again. So that's 3 interruptions. And then we have Rinbrum in the graveyard. And I put in a card over the over the Sanctifier Dragon, which is the Sprint, the Iron Dash. Now there's multiple things you can play in this deck other than Sprint, the Iron Dash. The reason I have this in here is because it turns Albaz in the graveyard into a like guaranteed interruption for anything. Like obviously if your opponent has a dark monster, you could do like a lot better stuff. Like you could fuse off with their monster, make Lubellion discard, And then you can make like what's it called, bro? What the fuck is it called? Yeah, if they have a dark, you could fuse off into Lubellion and make the Borreload Furious Dragon, or you could just make Stapelia and like have Guardian Chimera as well. But I just put Sprint the Iron Dash in here because it's just generic. One effect monster, special summon this turn. So you could pretty much fuse with anything they have. Fire, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But like I said, if you're playing like against a deck that has darks, lights, or fusions, you could obviously fuse off different stuff. Make an Albion effect, banish, and make a Borreload Furious that way, or a Stapelia that way. And then the last thing we have is obviously the Mercurier. So without Gimmick Puppet Lock, this was a 2.5 card combo with Aluber plus Cartesia, and it gets you basically 5 interruptions, 2 Mirror Jade Sends, Drago Stapelia, fuse with the opponent's field, and then a Mercurier. And then your follow-up is obviously just like absolutely ridiculous. This is going to search you Branded Fusion. You also have Grangoyle in the graveyard to summon out Quiritis, whatever. And then you have Cartesia coming back to the hand at the end of the turn. If they out the Iron Dash, then you can search for Spriggans Kit or Albaz or summon it, whichever one you feel like doing. That's the first combo I wanted to show you guys with Aluber plus Cartesia. And now let's get into the second combo. Okay, so now this is the second combo. This is if you have access to double Cartesia and Aluber, obviously, or Branded Fusion. Either one works. But you guys can see, like, I'm doing, like, my first one was a 2.5 card combo. This one I have 4 cards in my hand. Branded's not really a deck where you have like a 1 card combo. Like even Branded Fusion on its own like doesn't do all that much. Like you need at least like a discard. So this deck doesn't really have 1 card combos. So if you are looking for that, you're not gonna find it here. But the deck kind of uses its whole hand, and then it's just grind game's insane. Its resource game is just absurd, as you guys saw. Like I start with 4 cards, but I end up with like 10, 11 cards. So this is if you have access to double Cartesia, it actually gets a little bit better. So we go Fusion Deployment, summon out Cartesia, normal summon Aluber, Fusion. This part's pretty standard. We just go for the standard line here of Albion, Banish, make Lubellion, discard Thrust, but make the Mirror Jade, bring out the Bestial Lubellion, effect to place Branded Loss, Cartesia effect, summon out Grangoyle, then chain 1, chain 2. So we search for Albion here instead of the Mercurier because we need to get an Albaz in the grave because we summoned the first Cartesia off Fusion Deployment. So I guess you have to have Fusion Deployment. You can't just do it with double Cartesia because we haven't used Cartesia's effect to special summon. There's also ways you could do it where you normal summon the first Cartesia if you have Branded Opening. So you could special summon out Aluber and, like I said, normal summon Cartesia and then save Cartesia's hand effect to special summon. So there's a lot of different combinations of cards that you could have to get to this point. But if you do get access to double Cartesia, this is something you could do. Then you go Albion, the Shrouded Dragon, dump Albaz, draw a random card, then Cartesia's effect to summon itself, and then we just pass here. During the end phase, we're going to get Ash Dragon's effect, summon Quem, just dump High Spirits. You could also dump something like an Opening if you didn't have it to protect your fusion monsters from Raigeki, Darkhold, Tenpai Boys, you know. But here we just pick up an extra discard fodder, so it's fine. We also get to add back the Cartesia, so just more monsters for Branded in red, whatever. Then we get the effect to set Branded in red, and then we pass turn to our opponent. So we let our opponent play as usual, and then we interrupt them with Mirror Jade, and then we send the Rinbrum to the graveyard. Here we're going to fuse Cartesia plus the Mirror Jade, make the second Grangoyle, then new Chainlink 1 Grangoyle, Chainlink 2 Quem, Chainlink 3 Lost. Quem's going to target the Mirror Jade to bring it back, and then we're going to search. I banished it face down right off the top deck because I'm like that. We search Mercurier, so we never actually lose out on Mercurier in this combo, except for on turn 1. So we just search it on this turn, obviously. So that's 1 Mirror Jade banish. Quem's going to reborn the Mirror Jade and then dump the Adlib to the graveyard. So we Mirror Jade banish them twice. If they still are playing, which they probably are, we go Branded in red, add back Adlib, fuse, we make Stapelia, and then new Chainlink, Adlib, bring back Jade. And now here we have Stapelia, another Jade. So that's 3 Mirror Jade banishes, Stapelia negate, Mercurier negate, Albaz fuse with their guys. So that's 6 interruptions here. So I just show you guys here. We have the Rinbrum, banish, Albaz effect, discard, Cartesia, because you're going to get it back, doesn't matter. And then we have Mercurier negate here. So, and then obviously during the end phase, we go stupid. Like we go Albalinatus, search Fusion Deployment, Albion, search for branded fusion, add back Cartesia. Our grind game is just like out of this world. Obviously, it's just what branded does. So that's the second combo. It gives you an extra Mirror Jade banish if you can have access to 2 Cartesias. So just something to note there. Quem reborning the Mirror Jade is absolutely broken. So yeah, that's just what I want to show you guys. Let's get into the third and final combo. So as I was saying earlier, branded doesn't really have 1-card combos and like stuff you could do with that. So I was just doing test hands. I bricked a few times, but it did end up drawing a banger of a hand, which is this one right here. We draw Droplet, Albaz, Quem, Aluber, Opening. And I'll just walk you guys through my thought process with playing this hand out. So we start off with Opening. We pitch the Albaz and summon out an Aluber because we want to normal summon this Quem. So we go Aluber effect. If that gets stopped or the branded fusion gets stopped for whatever reason, like you see I activate the fusion here, but then I'm like, no, that's probably not the right play. I think first we want to start off with normal summon Quem, use the effect to dump. In some instances, you want to go branded fusion first. Like if I didn't discard Albaz and I'm thinking my branded fusion will get stopped, you might want to go branded fusion first so that you could like Quem dump Albaz or Cartesia to have plays on your opponent's turn. In this situation, obviously this test hand, I'm like going for the biggest board possible. So I go Quem, dump the Cartesia, which is actually always correct because I discarded the Opening, or I discarded Fallen of Albaz off of Opening, so I already have Albaz in the graveyard. So like hard drawing, it's like really not that bad. So we always dump the Cartesia here. Yeah, we could have dumped Merc, and then if branded fusion goes through, banish the Merc, but it doesn't really matter. So here we dump the Cartesia, branded fusion, it resolves. We say hip hip hooray. We go for Albion, Chainlink 1, Quem, Chainlink 2, bring back Cartesia, and then standard line, Lubellion effect, discard Aluber, put back, make Mirror Jade, and then here, tribute off the Albion, summon out Lubellion, Lubellion effect, place Lost, go up into Grangoyle, Grangoyle 1, Lost 2. So here, since we hard drew the Albaz, discarded it off Opening, we don't have to search for the Shrouded Dragon on turn 1 to dump an Albaz so that we could fuse our opponent's board on his turn. Here we're able to just search the Mercurier straight up, and we already have access to Quem. This is what I was saying in the first combo, like if you normal summon Quem, you don't actually have to dump the Titaniclad, the Ash Dragon, on turn 1. You could just straight up send the Adlib. But I searched for Cartesia instead of the Merc. Okay, I'm cooking. I forgot this combo already. I just did random test hand. I'm already fucking up my own line. We obviously want to special summon the Cartesia in main phase 1 still, which is what we do. And then set the Forbidden Droplet, of course. And then end phase, we add back the Cartesia. Just a nice little discard there. And then Albion effect to set Branded in red. Okay. And then we pass turn. Yeah, this one does give me the more interruptions because I'm actually remembering now. The Cartesia, the extra Cartesia gives me more interruptions, and I could just search for Merc on his turn, so it doesn't really matter. So we let our opponent play. We banish a card off or a monster off their field. We send the Rinbrum for Albaz interrupt, and then we can go effect Blazing Cartesia to fusion summon. We use a fusion plus a dark monster to make Stapelia, and then we trigger the Quem and the Lost. So we search Mercurier on the opponent's turn, summon back Jade. So now we have Jade 2 times, and then Stapelia, and then we could send the Ash Dragon this time. So yeah, that's 3 interruptions. Then we go Branded in red, add Adlib to hand, banish everything, make a Guardian Chimera for a 4th interruption. We go Adlib, bring back Jade for a 5th interruption, and then obviously some draws. Effective Mirror Jade. I lost count of the interruptions at this point. We still, I think this one's 7. So we still have this. Like the deck still does a whole lot. Even if we don't have Puppet. Like if this deck doesn't have Puppet, it's kind of chill. Like we still just put up boards like this. Like this one was triple Mirror Jade banish, Stapelia, fuse with the opponent's stuff, Mercurier, and Guardian Chimera. That's like 7 interruptions, plus I drew a card, popped 2 cards, so yeah, it's pretty insane, I'm not gonna lie. And then like I said, just like last time, our follow-ups is just insane. This can add Quem or Albaz, this can search for Branded Fusion or Deployment, this is gonna add itself back to the hand. We also have stuff in the graveyard, like really important. Like don't forget about these kind of effects of Aluber in the graveyard. If they out one of your fusions, you can like negate something on their field, bring this back. Like that comes up. It's gonna start coming up more once the branded players stop puppeting our opponents, because like when we puppet our opponent, like they're not really gonna out our fusions, so the Aluber doesn't really come up except for like in grind games and stuff. And when it does come up, it is clutch. It's a very good interaction, especially like if they beat over, like you do it in damage step, because I'm pretty like 100% sure that yeah, by battle or the field by an opponent's card effect. So this just, if they beat over something, damage step, ego effect, bring back negate is very strong. Another thing to think about is if Sanctifier gets banned, is Typhon's actually going to be a problem for us now. In the past, you know, everybody always says Typhon's really, really good against Branded and whatnot. It's usually not, because you can't even summon that card once we do what we do, you know? But going forward, when Sanctifier does get banned, that card is going to be a real threat. So what we can do to easily beat that is like, we just make sure that we have Infallen of Albaz in the graveyard. And then like Mirror Jade first dump is always going to be Rinbrum. So if at any point they do go into Typhon, we just go Rinbrum, bring back Albaz, Albaz effect, fuse with the Typhon, and then they can't summon for the rest of the turn, so they just puppet lock themselves. And then we fuse into Lubellion, make the pop guy, the Borreload Furious. So as we're playing Branded in the future, Typhon will get dropped on us more, because like I said, it doesn't get dropped on us that often right now. But being able to fuse away, you could also fuse it away for a Mirror Jade if something goes wrong and you know you don't have your Mirror Jade back on the field, or whatever the case is. Like fuse into a Mirror Jade, fuse into a Lubellion, put back some of your stuff, because when you Mirror Jade banish 3 times in one turn, you're, you know, it's a lot of extra deck cards you're going through here. So just some stuff to think about. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'm still going to be playing Branded even after Gimmick Puppet gets banned. These are some things you can do if you guys have any other combos or any other lines or whatever it is, text, whatever, for Branded. Definitely let me know down there in the comment section below. I greatly appreciate that. Greatly helps out the channel. Drop a like, all that good stuff. And I'm out. Peace. Also join the Twitch. We're live on Twitch right now. Twitch.tv/don'tashme. And yeah, I'm out. Peace.